In this particular video, we're really only going to look at example 1 and example 2 on page 322. So we're starting there. We're going to talk about making payments on our loan. So we're going to do a couple of examples there. One of the examples is going to be about calculating a monthly payment, and then the other one will give some information about buying a car. And it's a pretty good example because it goes through some things that you may not have thought about. So this is example 1, and it says you want to purchase a computer that has a price of $13.99, and you decide to pay for it with the installments over 3 years. The store tells you that the interest rate is 15%. What is the amount of each monthly payment? Now, the problem with this particular example is they did not tell you what kind of interest it is. And in the book, they say you went back and you asked the clerk how the interest was calculated. Well, in our problems, we're going to have to tell you what kind of interest, and we're going to have to say that this is simple interest, or we may call it add-on interest. But we're going to have to tell you what kind of interest it is in our problems, and we're going to call this one add-on interest, which is the same thing as simple interest. So when we want to see how much we're really paying for that computer, we need to calculate the finance charge. And finance charge is the same thing as our interest. So we're going to use our formula. And our original amount is the principal. The rate is 15%. Move your decimal 2 places to the left. And the time in years is 3 years. So when we do this calculation, we put it in our calculator and we punch in $13.99 times 0.15 times 3. And we get interest or finance charge of $629.55. Now, if I simply ask you for the finance charge, this would be the answer, and we would stop. If I said, what's the interest or what's the finance charge? This one actually wants to know the monthly payment. So the first thing you need to determine is how much you're really paying for this computer. So you're paying the original $13.99 plus the finance charge for this computer. So when we add that up, we get $2,028.55. That's how much that computer is really going to cost us. And we've decided we want to make monthly payments on it. So first we have to figure out how many payments that we're making. And so we need to know the number of payments. And our formula for the number of payments is the capital N is 12 times T. So we have T in years, which is 3. So we are making 36 payments. So we need to determine the amount of each payment, and we do have a formula for that too. It's little m, and this is on page 322, equals A, which is future value, and future value is how much are you actually paying for this product, which is this, divided by capital N. So we're going to take 2,028.55 divided by 36, and the amount of our monthly payment is going to be $56.35. So that's what we're going to pay the store every month in order to own this computer. You should probably stop this video now and go over to page 327, and you can practice starting with number 21, finding the monthly payment. Now for example 2, we're given some information. It says, suppose that you have decided to purchase a 2012 Honda Civic and want to determine the monthly payment if you pay for the car in 4 years. So we're going to make monthly payments on this car for 4 years. Then they give us a little more information. And they say, assume that this car will get 70 miles per gallon of gasoline and that you will drive it for 100,000 miles. How much will it cost to drive this car for 100,000 miles if you assume that the average price of gasoline is $3.10 per gallon? So they've given you lots of information here, and we're going to go through and talk about each one. The other thing you have to think about when you're dealing with purchasing a car is that you're going to have to pay tax on it. So we are actually going to use 7% for our tax, but here's a table of taxes, and we've seen this before, but depending on the state that you were in, and in North Carolina, we would have 5.75%, but we're going to use 7 for this particular problem. So we're going to make an assumption here. And so the book's going to have to tell you this, but it's going to tell you that this is how much we have paid for this car. So we've actually paid, the dealer has actually paid $20,867 for this car. And you decide that, the dealer's going to have to make a profit. So you decide that you will offer the dealer 5% over this cost. And remember, this is just a scenario that we're talking about. We're talking about the way things actually work in the real world. So there's two ways you could do this. You could take and multiply the 20,867 by 0.05, get that answer and add it back to the 20,867. Or remember when we started this, I told you that there was another formula for future value, and that's actually in your book on page 322 under amount to be repaid. If you use this formula, it's like it's going back and adding it for you. That's what the 1 means, is 100%. So when we take the 1 plus the 0.05 and we multiply it, this is what we're saying we're going to offer for the car, including the 5% over the cost price. So this is the amount that we will offer for this car. You notice that we ignored the sticker price. The sticker price was like $23,000 in the dealer's preparation charges. The offer's based only on the dealer's cost. And in the real world, most dealers will accept an offer that's between 3% and 10% over what they actually paid for the car. So this is the kind of thing that you're going to see in your book. So for this example, we will assume that you offered $22,000 for this car and the dealer accepted it. You're going to also assume that you had another car to trade in, and this is the value of the trade-in that the dealer gave you. So this is what we're looking at. This is the price that we've offered to pay for the car. This is the destination charge. Now this is a fee that most dealers will tack on to the price of a car. So this is what you're paying for the car. 7% tax rate. So they took the price of the car and multiplied it by 0.07, and that was our tax that we're paying for it. Subtract out the price of your trade-in, and we get $13,900. Now you should stop the video right now and make sure that you understand how we got $13,900. Take your calculator and make sure that you can come up with that figure. Now, when we started this problem, we said that the interest rate was going to be 8% and that we were going to be paying on this car for 4 years. So if I want to calculate the finance charge or the interest at simple interest, this is now the price that I'm financing. So that's the price of the car, 8%, the interest rate, times 4 years. So this is the interest. So I'm going to end up paying for my car, my $13,900 plus the interest, which is $18,348. That's how much I'm actually going to have to pay for the car. Therefore, using my monthly payment formula, I take the price that I'm going to pay for the car and I divide it by 48, because 4 years times 12 is 48 payments, and this is my price per month for this car. Now, the other part of the question asked us about calculating how much it was going to cost us to drive this car in the way of buying gasoline. And it said that we're going to drive 100,000 miles. The car gets 70 miles per gallon. So So we've made our calculation there. And we're going to take the number of gallons, which is what this number represents, and multiply it by the cost of 1 gallon of gas. So this is how much we are going to be spending in gas. Now, I would assume, and your book would have to tell you this, but that the 100,000 miles that we're driving is over the life of the loan of that car. So we're driving 100,000 miles in 4 years, which is about right because that's about 25,000 miles per year. So if we're using this much gas, this many gallons of gas for the life of the loan, and it's going to cost us this much for the life of the loan, if we wanted to figure out how much we were paying in gas per month, we would take that and we would divide it by 48. And then we could add our payment, and it would tell us exactly how much we're paying for this car per month, including gas. So that's what this is doing here, so that you can see how we might use this in the real world.